So welcome to our presentation, very brief presentation for the PPP Round 2 Payroll Protection Program Round 2. We thought it super important with our partners at JARC to be able to express to you the importance of applying, how do you apply, and how do you go about it. We're trying to make it as simple as possible. We're down to the wire as far as being able to apply. And joining me today in partnership, we'll be doing this is one of our experts at PPP, Christophe from SoBro. Christophe?
Hi, good. I don't know if it's good morning or good afternoon, but I'm Christophe Le Gorju. I'm the Senior Director of Economic Development at SoBro, working in collaboration with SBS, Small Business Services to help business to start, grow, and get better in New York. And of course, right now, to help them get access to the PPP.
Fantastic. And I'm not sure if I introduced myself in the beginning of this video. So just in case, I'm Lisa Sorin, the president of the Bronx Chamber of Commerce. So we'll go through it quickly. We want to make sure that everybody who is watching has an opportunity to really listen. And we will be providing at the end of the video a point of contact, emails, addresses, phone numbers for anyone who needs the assistance to be able to follow through. Does that sound good, Christophe?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So why don't we just start with the basics of basics. Round 2 PPP, what is it?
It's on what it says exactly. It's payroll protection program. It's a program set up by the Small Business Administration to cover 2.5 months of payroll.
Now, this has been going on for quite a while, right? There was a lot of confusion of people saying PPP 1, PPP 2. What's the difference? And did we even apply? Like, what's the difference between 1 and 2, or is there a difference?
There is and there is not. It's the same principle. The conditions are the same. The application is a bit different in terms of if you are on payroll in your company, or if you are a contractor, for example, if you pay your tax via Schedule C, if you are a 1099 contractor, you have to apply differently. That's the only difference. But at the end, the goal is the same. It's to cover payroll.
Which is fantastic. And throughout the whole video, we will be reminding people that you apply for this, and the goal is that you turn it into a grant at the end of the day, so you don't pay it back. So why should people apply other than the fact that it may be free money?
Well, first you said it, it's free money. You won't have to pay it back. So my question, why shouldn't you apply? Everybody can apply. If you have an employee on payroll, you apply to pay your employees for 2.5 months. If you're an independent contractor, you apply to get 2.5 months of income for yourself. So if you are an illegal immigrant with a business and you pay tax on the Schedule C as an independent contractor or sole proprietor, you qualify for the PPP and can get it. Your credit history and your credit score doesn't affect the application. We don't check it. So everybody almost qualify for it. So everybody should apply.
And I really think that you hit 2 really important parts, right? The credit score, everybody's always worried, especially after 2020, and your immigration status. Am I correct? Really, neither one really counts towards harming you in any way or stopping you from applying.
As long as you pay tax, it doesn't matter what's your immigration status. It doesn't matter if you're on visa or not. And if your credit score is so bad that you cannot get any credit card, don't worry about it. It doesn't affect it.
I think that's amazing. So before we get into how do you do it and everything else, I think the reason behind what we're doing here is the fact that there's a huge change in the monies that are available and where you can apply. So why don't we start with there, so people that are watching this understand that you and I and the JARC team are doing this because things have changed and people may have heard about the PPP and everything else, but you know, all over the news yesterday it said it ran out of money. So is that true?
Well, he actually ran out of money, but only for the big financial institution and all the big bank, Chase, Capital One, Citibank, etc. They cannot give any more money. But luckily for us, all the CDFI, and we have a few in New York City, still have funding. They have $8 billion in funding, so it's all for small business in priority. And we have Springbank, we have Book Capital, we have Landistry. All of them are still supplying funding for the PPP.
And I think that's super important. And we'll keep repeating that. And we'll also provide a list of all the CDFIs for people who may need it. So let's start with point one. How do I begin this process?
Well, you have to go, for example, on Springbound, go to the website and apply for PPP. The process is not complicated, and every lender make it so seamless to apply. You just have to follow the instruction, and they're pretty good. There's just a few different rules depending from the first one. You might have to apply differently than you did for the first PPP.
For instance,
Well, for instance, if you are an independent contractor, you have a LLC. Let's do a case study. You have a LLC business, you apply for the first PPP and you got it through your business. The business apply for you, but you pay your tax via Schedule C. In the second PPP, you don't apply on the name of the business. You apply on your name.
oh, interesting. I did not know that. Okay. Is
Yes,
that better or worse?
it makes no difference except that if you do the application the same way on first PPP, you're going to be denied. So you have to make sure that if you're on Schedule C, the Schedule C is on your name, on your tax. You have to apply under your name personally, your social security number. You don't enter your company name or your EIN number for the company.
Wow, that's really good to know. It's almost like your own personal grant to be used towards your business. I can see
I
that,
didn't
right?
do it for my business. I don't have one, but I did help a lot of business and I did the application for them.
Yeah, we have done here too. We've taken training because the whole idea behind all of this is organizations like yours, ours, is about making it as easy as possible.
You know, your,
So
your goal, like mine, is to make sure that the business are getting the money.
absolutely, this is all a partnership, right? At the end of the day, this is about the small business. So when you're talking about putting information together, are you telling me that all I need is my social security and me? What documentation are we talking about?
Depending on the lender, you definitely will need documentation. Your tax filing for 2019, it's not required 2020. Yeah, if that's your first PPP, it's more simple because you don't have to prove a decrease of your income. You need bank statement, ID, and the tax Schedule C or the tax for your business. If you have employee on payroll, you need payroll statement. You need to show that you were in business before February 20. And I guess that's about it. I'm sure I missed a few, but it's every loan that you apply with the bank will require the same type of document: tax, ID,
Right.
and bills for utilities, payroll statement, and that's about it.
Fantastic. Now, what if you already received payroll protection program the first round? Can I do it again?
You can do it again. You will have to show that you have a decrease in your income comparing 2019 to 2020. And you can compare a quarter of 2019 to 2020 or the entire year. And as long as you show a 25% decrease and that you're still in business, you can qualify.
Yeah. And I could imagine that most people will see a difference in 2020 to 2021 or otherwise, considering, most of our businesses were shut down to begin with, which is,
Yeah,
kind of
definitely,
sad.
definitely. But sometimes you realize that because people, you have to show when you get the money on your bank account, for example. So it could be billing from January that you're getting paid in July, and suddenly your income goes up. That's why you have to look at the quarter where your income goes down the most compared to last year. You have
Right.
to reach a 25% decrease that you need to prove.
So I'm sitting in front of a computer. One of the problems that we found, especially here in the Bronx, was this digital divide, the lack of understanding on how to maneuver, uh, computers or websites or applications, lack of computer savviness. I am guilty of being one of those. Where can people get help?
You can call the Bronx Chamber of Commerce, or you can call me at SoBro or other of a partner, and we will assist you to go through the process.
That's fantastic. What's the deadline?
The deadline, the PPP ends at the end of this month, May. And the CDFI still have money. So until all the money is gone, the deadline is May 31st.
And what happens if the money is not all used? Does the government just take it back?
Who knows? If we look at what they did last year, they did reopen and extended the timeline. So I don't know what the government is going to do this time, and they're going to extend the deadline. My guess is they probably will, but I will not bet on that. This is not about a deadline. The deadline is end of the month. Even worse, I would say the deadline is today. Apply.
I happen to agree with you 100%. The first round of PPP, there was a lot of conversation about the fact that the borough of the Bronx was the one that received the least. So I think the government got it when they were giving out all these PPP loans to the bigger corporations. The second round is much more friendlier. I know that the numbers have gotten much better in the Bronx, but
That's
how can
because
we
of
get,
you and me.
thank you for that. It takes the village, right? At the end of the day. But how can we get more information out there for people not to miss out on free money? I just find that, at the end of the day, we'll get people coming back or individuals in small business saying, I didn't know about it. Other than standing on top of a rooftop with, a megaphone, how do you think we can help people to understand the importance of applying for this loan?
I think at this point is the word of mouth. And everybody that got a PPP should let other business know that they can get it. You can apply it in English. You can apply in Spanish. A lot of lenders like Bob Capital offer the application all in Spanish. So, and if you need, as I said earlier, if you need help for the technology park, we're here.
Exactly. I agree with you totally. Now, the surprise is we now have another batch of money, first come, first serve. And this is very specific for probably one of the hardest hit industries across the country, our hospitality industry. What do we have for them?
Well, we have a lot of money for that. And this is the first in the history of the US. It's actually an amazing grant for business. Anyone in the hospitality business can apply for it. And even if you already got the PPP1 or PPP2, you qualify. I will take an example. If you qualify for $500,000 for the RRF, sorry, and you got the PPP 1 and 2, you're going to get 500 minus what you got for PPP 1, let's say 100,000, minus what you got for PPP 2, let's say also 100,000. At the end, you get $300,000 extra. So you can apply for both.
And the great thing about it, which I heard, is this is really just a grant. At the end of the day, with PPP, you have to sustain your records unless you're under $150,000. You really don't have to show a lot, but this restaurant revitalization fund is really about free money. What I found interesting about it, I started doing a little bit of reading on it, is that you can actually pay for inventory that you bought during a time that you thought you were going to be open. And I don't think people realize that, because PPP was very restrictive to some degree, right? We're talking payroll and some of the more important items, but this can be used for what?
Yeah, that's actually a very good point. That grant can cover all the expenses that you incur in last year. Like, for example, if you had to set up a terrace outside and spend a lot of money in build up, that cost can be paid by the grant. So you go back in time, use what you already spent to with that grant. You cannot pay things in advance, but you can reimburse the past.
Does that include rent? Because I know that's been a big question.
That includes almost everything. for your business. That include rents, utilities, as you said, inventory, PPE, everything that you had to pay last year to keep your business afloat can be covered by that grant. So it's an amazing grant.
It really is. And restaurants that need it, right? Is, and to your point, I think one of the costliest things as we've been opening and closing over the course of the last year is that outdoor dining. I mean, you know, the city of New York had people put stuff up, take it down, the regulations kept changing, and the dollar amounts just kept adding, which is really important. Is there a deadline for this one particular revitalization fund?
I think the deadline is until the money is gone. I don't remember. I
Yeah.
have a memory lapse on this on the deadline.
Unfortunately, I think you're right. You know, this is one batch of money across the United States, so we can't even say it's for New York only. So it's first come, first serve, and it is a very, very short application. I think this was probably one of the shortest applications I've seen for free money. The curious thing I heard is that you can get up to $5 million on one restaurant, um,
Yes.
which that's a lot of food.
It's a lot of money, and it's an amazing opportunity to make sure your business can make it to the next step and survive. And you said earlier, this is free money. You won't have to reimburse it, and because they do it in a way from the beginning, if you're already approved for free money.
That's exactly right. And I think that's the key of this whole entire conversation that you and I've been having. It really is about there's money out there. Let's use it. It's free. It can bring you up to date. You know, we're entering Mother's Day and they're talking about opening up New York City by a couple of more weeks. So why not pay for everything so that you have no debt walking into 2021, don't you think?
Exactly. I mean, the question is like, this is free money. It's a grant money. It's money that you won't have to reimburse. So the only thing that is going to cost you is time to do the application. Take the time, sit down on your computer. If you need help to do the application, you can always call any partner in the Bronx, and you can, I'm sure, get enough your kids to help you to do it. But get somebody to help you on a computer and apply for that grant.
Yeah, and at the end of this, all our contact information will be there anyway. But you're right. I think there's an urgency behind apply for the money. Don't let the money go to waste. It's free money. And to your point, sometimes we're like, yeah, I'll get to it. Yeah, I'll get to it. And before you know it, you know, May 31st is around. Everybody's off for Memorial Day, and you've lost out on hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is really not what we want to see happen.
We want the business to grow in the Bronx and first to stay in business.
I'm with you 100%. Thank you, Christophe.
Thank you, Lisa.